Hey everybody, this is the RP Tastemaker channel, where we discuss matters of taste. Today we are talking about the top 5 styles of craft beer and my favorite expressions of each style. Let's get into it. First, it's worth mentioning there's over 100 styles of beer on the market, and I'll be only picking 5 that I consider the most important in the craft beer world. Next, this episode is all about grocery store beer. If you want a bit more about what that means to me, check out the episode Craft Beer Controversy just before this one. But suffice it to say, these are widely distributed and available offerings throughout the majority of the United States. And you'll notice a bias towards Michigan beers, with 3 of the top 5 coming from the Great Lakes state, which happens to be where I live. Call it a home court advantage or whatever. Okay, the first style is lager. Lager is the most common style in the world and has traditionally been the domain of the massive breweries. When I'm looking for a lager, I want something crisp and refreshing. Solid Gold by Founders gives me just that. It's beer flavored beer. Nothing much going on here, which is kind of the point of the style. Next up is a style featuring more malt character and a little more flavor. Amber Ale. This style might be the cornerstone of the craft brewing revolution as brewers and drinkers discover the sweetness that comes from using caramel and crystal malts. I picked Fat Tire by New Belgium as my go-to in this style. Very balanced and drinkable. Now, speaking of flavor, next up is a stout. Specifically, barrel-aged imperial stout. Now, this style is a flavor extravaganza. Lots of malt, including roasted malts, adds up to a complex and sweeter beer with lots of alcohol. Add it to a whiskey barrel for a bit of aging, and the flavor and complexity go through the roof. Now, this style is a sipper. For this style, I picked Founders KBS. The chocolate, coffee, and bourbon flavor really hits you, and I enjoy this one with a good cigar. It's worth noting this is over 12% ABV, alcohol by volume, so it's like drinking 2 or 3 normal beers in one. I don't think I've ever drank more than one of these in a sitting though. For me, this style is basically a dessert, and in fact goes quite well mixed with a bit of ice cream. For the last 2 styles, we're going to be talking about hops beginning to take the center stage. Hops, those glorious aromatic things that give beer its bitterness, but also flavors like citrus and pine. This style is called Pale Ale, and for me, Sierra Nevada Pale is the perfect expression. Yes, it's hoppy, but it's perfectly balanced with a bit of crystal malt. This is just a great beer, enough said. Finally, we get to a style that is probably most associated with craft beer, and you guessed it, India Pale Ale, or IPA for short. Many a meme has been made to poke fun at those of us that can't get enough of this style. It's basically a pale ale, but more. In other words, it's great if you appreciate lots of hops in your beer. And the granddaddy of all IPAs, in my opinion, has got to be Two Hearted Ale by Bell's. It's actually a simple beer as far as recipes go, using 100% Centennial hops, but the way it tastes is anything but simple. Again, you get the citrus and pine like in the Sierra Nevada Pale, but even more. That's a good thing. So there you have it. 5 great beer styles, 5 great grocery store beers. Feel free to add your favorites in the comments section below, and I'll try to check them out if I haven't. Next up, I'll be reviewing my top 5 beers in each of these styles, but this time from local breweries close to me. I happen to be in Flint, Michigan. See you next time. Cheers.